Now, one guy made a comment to me showing me some video. He gave me a link to go look at a satellite filming or recording a rocket taking off from the Earth and going into outer space. Let's take a look. Oh, let me back it up. You might have missed that. There it is. It's supposed to be the rocket. It looks like it's going straight up, don't it? They never go straight up from sea level. Isn't that funny? Let's look at that again. Can you say CGI animation? Because I can. Now, what do we have here? Of course, they got to depict, the horizon as horizontal, because this is CGI animation. Now they're claiming in this CGI animation that this right here is the atmospheres of the Earth. 5 layers: thermosphere, troposphere, ionosphere, all gas and oxygen. You got the oxygen there, the clouds, the water vapor, and these 5 layers of atmosphere. Gas and oxygen curving around a big giant ball. Now, let me direct your attention to this black area right here. They say that is an infinite vacuum universe. Billions, 36 billion light years across. Now, I don't know if you know this, but gas and oxygen always fill the available volume of the puny vacuum chambers we make at sea level ground. Absolutely. This never fails. Gas and oxygen will always fill a vacuum chamber once the gas and oxygen come into contact with the vacuum chambers we make. And this all occurs at sea level, down on the ground, where they say gravity has more influence. They say gravity weakens as you go higher and higher, because they'll tell you that things weigh less on a mountain, and that's gravity, because gravity weakens with altitude. The more altitude you climb, the weaker gravity gets. So, if gas and oxygen disperse in all directions on the ground, north, east, west, south, up, down, left, right, diagonally at sea level, and always fill the available volume of the puny vacuum chambers we make, and this all occurs where they say gravity has more influence at sea level on the ground, what do you think gas and oxygen would do way up here? I guess this would be the Kármán line, where they say an infinite vacuum universe, outer space, 36 billion light years across, would be. Why isn't the gas and oxygen of the Earth and the gas here going in outer space? We see it going all directions where they say gravity has more influence. So this area would be where gravity has less influence. So why is it stopping? Why does it maintain itself in a fixed manner right next to an infinite vacuum, 36 billion light years across? I'll tell you how this can be done. I know exactly how it could be done. This can only be done with CGI animation. Do you understand the word contradiction? When what they tell or show us contradicts observable reality. Observable reality is absolute, and at sea level, on the ground, or ground next to sea level, which I used to describe being on the ground, gas and oxygen disperse in all directions. I got a video showing it blowing a bush, up, down, left, right, and diagonally on the ground where they say gravity has more influence. So if oxygen goes in all directions on the ground, up, down, left, right, diagonally, where they say gravity is stronger, why wouldn't it do the very same thing way up here where they say gravity is weaker? Common sense and logic would dictate that it would do it even more, disperse in all directions at even a higher velocity where gravity is weaker. This is nonsense, people. They're saying this is some gas and oxygen thermosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, and you can see through it because it's gas. Those are supposed to be stars. Okay? And we know what happens to gas and oxygen once it comes into contact with a vacuum. And mind you, not any vacuum, the puny vacuum chambers we make. Okay, do you know what 10 to the negative 17 torr infinite vacuum is? Okay, that would be 1 trillion times more vast and void of oxygen than any vacuum we could make. And gas and oxygen always go in, get sucked or go in, whatever. The bottom line, the end result is the same, that the gas and oxygen always fill the available volume of the puny vacuums we make. So why ain't it, this gas and oxygen, why isn't it going into this infinite vacuum universe they tell us is over the Earth? Surrounds our Earth, and the Earth is within an infinite vacuum universe. Then they have the gall to tell you that gravity does all this. Okay, air, gas, and oxygen disperse in all directions at sea level, totally disobedient to gravity. If gravity is the downward vector of matter, and gas and oxygen, and it's pulling it down, how does gas and oxygen, which comes from the earth, trees, us, animals, the ground, how does it get up there to then get pulled back down? There's no force or occurrence that could win a tug of war with an infinite vacuum universe billions of light years across. Per any reasonable scale, the earth would be smaller than a grain of sand within an infinite vacuum universe 36 billion light years across. 1 light year is almost 6 trillion miles. 1 light year, 6 trillion miles almost. And I've said this before, I guess I got to do it every time because people have short memories when it comes to observable reality and fact. They favor theory, which cannot be verified or demonstrated. 1 trillion seconds would take over 30,000 years to go by. That's just 1 trillion seconds. Now imagine 1 trillion miles. So imagine 36 billion sets of 1 trillion miles. That's what they call infinite, because they say the infinite vacuum universe is expanding due to inflation. They will show you artist renderings of what they call redshift. And it's very funny, this redshift, because they'll tell you red designates movement, expansion. But on the Earth, red means stop. Green means go. You understand this? How they gotta contradict everything? Red at a stop sign or red light. Red designates stop. Green designates go. But they'll show you an artist rendering of redshift and say, oh, that means the universe is expanding. But what is contradicted here is what can be verified is that when you make a vacuum chamber, it has to be in a contained environment. And once it's contained, it cannot expand. There are no vacuums on Earth that can exist naturally. We have to make them. We get a picture a fish tank that you can suck all the air out, and that's a vacuum. Okay, sound cannot travel in a vacuum. A fly, the insects, flies, and stuff cannot fly. There's nothing for it to flap its wings against. There are so many lies they tell us, like this rocket whizzing through an infinite vacuum universe, having nothing to push off of. What is that thing pushing off of? Okay, it's pushing off gas and oxygen of the Earth. Well, once it leaves this area, once it goes into the infinite vacuum, what is it pushing off of? You see, Newton's laws of motion don't apply in a vacuum. If they did, the insect, the fly, could fly. It doesn't matter what comes out of the rocket. Okay? Neither the fuel or whatever it's ejecting can become fixed. The rocket's not fixed, and whatever is coming out, I don't care if it's oxygenated, it is not fixed either. So you cannot exert off something that is not fixed. It would be like trying to push off a helium balloon. These people are incredible liars. Oh wait, what happened here? Let's look at this again. What just happened? Let's see. Why did the atmosphere get all, you can't see through it? What are they trying to say? That's disgusting. They try to say the exhaust of that booster detaching clouded everything up. And let's see how it disperses. It disperses everywhere there, look, yeah. You see how you can see through it? And now watch. The rocket's gonna, do that booster separation garbage. Re-entry. And then they're gonna show it all get clouded up. That's supposed to be the exhaust clouding it up. Okay, you see how it's all up here and there? That's what gas and oxygen do. They disperse. But for some reason, they don't go this way. And what's containing all this there? Well, how can gas contain itself? Gas cannot contain itself. If a woman wants to bring home Aquanet hairspray, she has to do so in a can. If you want to bring home propane, you need a tank. Okay? Gas cannot contain itself. And that's what they say these 5 layers of atmosphere are gas. So they cannot make a barrier to separate the other gas and the oxygen from an infinite vacuum. You people really need to learn what a vacuum is. It's not a vacuum cleaner. They call a vacuum cleaner because it's a device that sucks up debris. And that's what a vacuum does. It sucks. I don't really want to argue about that. I know that a vacuum sucks gas and oxygen into it. And these idiots will say, no, it's the gas and oxygen with an IQ of 99. It's sentient and it goes into the vacuum. It knows there's a vacuum and it flows into it. I'll save that argument for later. But the end result is the gas and oxygen, whether it's sucked or it goes in itself, it goes in. It fills the available volume. Volume is room. Okay, and a vacuum has no air in it. So when you vacuum seal food, you suck all the air out and the bag clings to the food and there's no air, it lasts longer. That's a vacuum, and you poke a hole in some vacuum sealed food, all the air, it sucks all the air in and it expands. Okay, a vacuum is an area devoid of air, and it's available volume like a drawer where you want to make space to put a pair of pants. It's just a place where you can put stuff. And all that gas and oxygen of the earth that they say covers the earth, is a volume that could fill this empty volume. The infinite vacuum universe is devoid of air, so it's empty. And gas and oxygen would always fill the vacuum like it does on Earth. So we're lied to. And they want us to discard or forget or ignore observable reality. And they show these stupid artists CGI animations, which this is an animation, okay? If you think this is real, then there's nothing I can do for you. Okay, if you think water can be on the side of a ball pulled down by some force or occurrence that they admit, however, if we are to be honest, we don't know what what gravity is itself in any fundamental way. So Google, what don't we know about gravity, and they'll tell you. However, if we are to be honest, which is a like a turkey shoot, you don't know what you're going to get because they're liars. So when they are being honest, they will say, however, if we are to be honest, we don't know what gravity is itself in any fundamental way. That's because gravity itself has no presence or substance of itself to directly detect. Any person, place, or thing that is real must possess presence and substance. Gravity itself has never been directly detected per current, field, wave, beam, ray, or particle on the Earth ever. It's a 500-year-old theory. It's a fraud. If there was some force or occurrence that could pull water back to a ball and it could maintain itself like that, because we know what happens if you got a cup of water at sea level on the ground and you tip it sideways, it's going to fall out. But for some reason, oxygen or water can cover the whole outside surface of a giant ball on the top, sides, and underneath, and it doesn't fall. Because they say gravity, but they tell you they don't know what it is. It's never been directly detected. It hasn't one iota of presence or substance, and it's remained a theory for 500 years. That's all because it's fictitious. It's a fraud. They use it to lie to you. You don't even know where you live. And gas and oxygen could never remain fixed. Right next to, surrounded by, and within an infinite vacuum universe. Go get a vacuum, suck all the air out of it, and it's a vacuum, and then open it and see what the gas and oxygen outside do. They'll go right into the vacuum and fill it. But for some reason, up here where they say gravity weakens, it just stays there. No problem. It just stays there. But we know on Earth that gas and oxygen go in all directions. My God, people are afraid. I guess they're afraid. They don't want to face the truth. They're perfectly happy to just go with the flow of lies they're told. You know, your world's not going to fall apart if you face observable reality and stop instantaneously believing these atheist liars who in reality are not atheists. What this is these atheists against people who believe in a creator. Okay, because there's not one thing, this computer, not anything that doesn't, it has to be made. It has to be made by a superior being with the ability of thought. Without thought, there could be no plan, process, or execution to make more than one. Repeated execution. Okay, everything we have has to be made by a plan, process, and repeated execution. So these scumbags want you to believe that the earth and us, we came from nowhere. Nothing made us, and evolution evolved us into what we are, that we came from apes, that the earth is insignificant because there's millions of other Earth-like planets out there, and we, mankind, are low on the totem pole of evolution because there's advanced, superior aliens out there with technology far superior to what we have. That's what they want you to believe. They use fear porn of asteroids and aliens and the boogeyman, the Russians, and China, Korea. They use this to govern you. Okay, there can't be peace. There must be war. Okay, they can't spend billions of dollars making armament and ordnance and weapons without a boogeyman. You people, in my opinion, humanity's all done. They're putting the finishing touches on it now. Just turn on the TV at 6 and 6:30, and those are the finishing touches for your demise.